Hudson Yards has thrown everything at making itself into a cultural destination. Does it succeed? From the colossal vessel to custom works by a host of hot artists, it's got it all. Is it enough? The main thing that you must know about to understand the unique type of cultural radiation that it is throwing off is the unspeakable gap between what it actually is and how it wants and needs people to think of it. What it wants and needs size to project an image of being totally special, singular, unique in every way, and a beacon for the cognoscenti. Hudson Yards is, but what Hudson Yards in fact is, at its heart, is absolutely the most boring, uninteresting thing that you could realize with all that investment. It is an engorged complex of high-end office space and retail. It is no one's idea, and so there is a particular kind of overcompensation that Hudson Yards is liable to provoke from its partisans, well on display at Friday's ribbon cutting, a curious mix of pomp and perplexity held in the shadow of Vessel, the towering, shiny spiral staircase cum architectural folly designed by Thomas Heatherwick as a centerpiece for Hudson Yards Plaza. What, I wonder, was the most head-scratching moment of that day? Confetti is showered during celebrations for the opening of New York's newest neighborhood, Hudson Yards, March 15, 2019. Photo by Timothy. Was it when Big Bird came on stage to banter with CNN newscaster Anderson Cooper, who was emceeing the event, before posing with all the assembled real estate bigwigs and yanking a cord that detonated a confetti-spewing explosive device to open Hudson Yards? At one point, Senator Chuck Schumer speaks on stage at Hudson Yards' official opening event on March 15, 2019 in New York City. Photo by Dia. Was it when New York Senator Chuck Schumer took the stage to reminisce fondly about how he had helped hatch the idea for Hudson Yards with the ominously named Group of 35? He went on to invoke Andra Day performs on stage with Alvin Ailey dancers at Hudson Yards on March 15, 2019, in New York City. Photo by Dia. Or was it when the whole thing wrapped up with a performance by Grammy-nominated singer Andra Day, belting her hit Rise Up, which has been claimed as an unofficial anthem of Black Lives Matter so time. As the Alvin Ailey, the song built to a resounding crescendo ill rise up / rise like the day / ill rise up, a powerful ode to the triumph of tax increment financing? To finally filling, but we must push past such lingering questions, now, to consider just what the artistic amenities of Hudson Yards are doing and how they fit into this pattern, a little more closely. No feature of Hudson Yards signifies its attempt to inspire that needed extra little bit of frisson more than Vessel, whose spidery abstracted profile serves as the symbol of the whole project. View of the elevator in Vessel. Image courtesy of New York is a city whose culture is being slowly throttled by unaffordability. So in the long run, and from the outside, the heart sinks to look upon it. It is too big. An outside view of the Vessel at the shops restaurants at Hudson Yards on March 14, 2019, in New York City. Photo by Dimitri. Vessel's shiny brass cladding has the virtue of being literally flashy as shiny, mirrored surfaces being the lowest common denominator prop of the age of like courting Instagram art. But upon a moment's image of the copper cladding on Vessel, at left. Image courtesy of, oh well. I suppose that once you get inside this sculptural structure, the impression is more positive. As you climb Vessel, the coolest image is from the highest platform down into the heart of the sculpture, so that you see all the repeating geometry radiating out like a blossom. It has a vaguely people take an inaugural walk up the urban landmark, temporarily known as Vessel during the opening of New York's Hudson Yards on March 15, 2019. Photo by Timothy. Seen from a height, with all the humans in it trudging up and down all those identical stairs, rendered anonymous by distance, the go-to art reference that comes to mind is a more sinister, on some level, Heatherwick's concoction is the fun part version of that insight. The slightly uneasy, a city within a city is what Schumer called Hudson Yards. You have to appreciate Vessel's claim to be a big-hearted contribution to public space is only partly undermined by the developer's decision to introduce it as a free-ticketed experience. I can't quite exterior view of Snark Park at Hudson Yards from a balcony, Image courtesy of, tickets are not free, however, for the site's other big cultural attraction Snark Park, designed by the ultra-hip design team. Nested within the second floor of the shop's restaurants at Hudson Yards. Don't call it the Mall of Hudson Yards. A ticket for Snark inside Snark Park. Image courtesy of, as my colleague Sarah Cascone, Snark architecture very much today's aesthetic with its 2015 installation at the National Building Museum in Washington, D.C. Please do touch the, essentially, upon entry, what you get is a room filled with repeating grey columns more or less the vibe of being in a slightly offbeat car park. It is, on a view inside Snark Park. Image courtesy of, you can pose amid rows of columns taking pictures, or you can wander among them to find little secrets hidden in the environment. One pillar is broken open to reveal a mirror-tiled throne you can sit in. Another has a large, one of the attractions at Snark Park. Image courtesy of, maybe people will find this more enthralling than I do, but I don't think so. To be honest, better luck next installation. The other major cultural anchor of Hudson Yards, the showy, multifunctional art space known as The Shed, is yet to open. But what we do have, Deborah Cass mural at Hudson Yards. Image courtesy of, with a variety of artists, ranging from the well-known and well-respected Deborah Cass to the up-and-coming and admirable Rico Gatson, this probably represents a high watermark for the integration of visual art into a retail environment in the US, but that's a high watermark in a shallow pool. Shoppers wait in line for fugu in front of Rico Gatson's hidden in plain sight. Image courtesy of, the mall itself is lavish, full of luxe boutiques, fine dining, and, of course, Shake Shack, already swamped on opening day. It spreads across the shop's restaurants at Hudson Yards. Image courtesy of, so it is very obvious what the emphasis on artistic amenities brings here. They are trying to inject, through art's mythologized uniqueness, a sense of place and purpose to this gleaming shopping cathedral. Not least because, and that's a difficult matter, because so many of these boutiques have already metabolized enough of contemporary art's signature tricks into their displays so as to make standing out against the noise quite difficult. To the curator's credit, Rob Pruitt, Untitled, Faces 2019. Image courtesy of, there are some works that feel as if, whatever grit they might have had elsewhere, they fade into an offensive background, like Rob Pruitt's mural of blocky pastel faces, or Willie Cole's wallpaper depicting totems composed of stacks of high-heeled shoes against a cloudy blue sky, combined with mandalas made of recycled plastic bottles. The latter is Raptor, Willie Cole, Wheels, Totems, and Wishes 2019. Image courtesy of, there are some artworks, like Will Cotton's images of baby-faced models dressed in clothing made of candy and frosting, that so thoroughly chime with what you suspect the mall wants its users to believe about themselves, as self-actualizing through over-the-top consumption, that it makes you a little queasy. The Culture Core Will Cotton, What to Wear in Candyland 2019. Image courtesy of, the accent in all the chosen art is on the interactive and the colorful. Jeanette Hayes mural, installation view of Jeanette Hayes mural at Hudson Yards. Image courtesy of, probably most successful certainly in terms of crowd interaction on the first day was Dutch-born, LA-based Laura Schnitger's I Was Here 2019, a touchable tapestry that dominates one long wall. The various panels, Schnitger's work too implies a kind of allegory in it about the bargain at play here. I Was Here is all about the artist laying out a composition, stitched in the fabric curates not diets. The slogan reads across one of the top panels often letting the passers-by be empowered to totally disregard these, their distracted engagement washing across her artwork like waves over a signature written in sand at the beach. Laura Schnitger, I Was Here 2019. Image courtesy of, all in all, however, the emblematic artwork for the shops is not part of the Culture Core programming. It is found in the maw of the entrance to Neiman Marcus. There, an art, Mini Muse / Colby McGrubby, Theme 1 2019. Image courtesy of, devotees will know Mini Muse better by the name Colby McGrubby, the fashion blogger, daughter of private equity king A. John W. Jordan, and wife of art super collector Alberto Tico McGrubby. They met at a new R.S. Fisher opening, and their 2016 wedding at the Rivieras Hotel du Cap Eden Rock was the talk of Instagram. The installation is almost so dumb it is smart. So shallow that it
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.